Well, grace and peace be unto you from God our Father and His Secretary here on behalf of the weekly clergy roundtable. As you can see, in just a moment, I'm surrounded by a number of most impressive clerics from around the country who will be discussing today's topic. Let me take a quick moment and invite them to say hello. Let's go to the east end of Long Island. Good morning, Overseer. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. I am wonderful. In this 85-degree weather, I am absolutely marvelous. God bless all of you. I am Overseer Diane Seaman, pastor of Good Samaritan Ministries in South Center Reach and Port Jefferson. God bless you.
God bless you, Overseer. The fresh voice and face of Westchester. Good morning, Pastor. Glad you were able to work out those glitches with your computer today.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm glad too. Good morning, everyone. My name is Pastor Norman Scott, New Hope Institutional Baptist Church, Tarrytown, New York, where I just finished celebrating 3 marvelous years as the senior pastor there this past weekend. I'm happy to be on board. It is 82 degrees here in Westchester County, and it is sunny.
Great, 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 great. How are things in Washington, D.C., Doctor?
All is well, Bishop. Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Stephanie Stratford, excited to be the lead servant of Ecclesia International. We're headquartered in Gambrills, Maryland. And congratulations, Pastor Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And all the way from Waterloo, Iowa. Good morning, Bishop.
Good morning. You all are rubbing in how warm it is. It's 54 degrees here. It feels like 48.
Oh.
And rainy. I am from Cornelia Ministry, Full Gospel Baptist Church. We're connected to God and connected to each other. I keep talking like that, I'll get moved out there.
And before I invite our final roundtable member to say hello to you, I'm Andy C. Lewter of the Hollywood Full Gospel Baptist Cathedral and the Queen's Ministry of New York City. I want to take a moment of personal privilege and thank those of you who attended and supported my birthday celebration this past weekend on Sunday. It was just an amazing fair. I've said to the committee that was in charge of that, this is the best birthday celebration that I've had in the last 10 years, not the least of which is because it was just a great outpouring of love. But the Lord blessed us with 20 people who walked down the aisle on Sunday.
Young adults.
The invitation, Christian discipleship. And believe I thought the Lord was trying to tell me something. I ain't something like that since I was in my 30s and 40s. So I said, Lord, is this my soiree or swan song? Listen, we ran out of chairs and it scared me. So it scared me half to death. I said, Lord, what's going on here? But that along with
and Bishop, they were all young adults, all but 2.
I took
every last one of them.
I had been saying that at 72 years old, I'm simply no longer attractive to the younger generation. And I felt that I had reached my ceiling and plateau in terms of evangelism because, 72-year-old man is not going to attract 20 and 30-year-olds. But we had a number of young people who came Sunday, so I'm very, very grateful for that. Bishop Walter Willie is my neighbor and colleague of many years. I've saved him for last to say hello to you because in addition to sharing with you who he is, there is a most essential election that is to take place here in the Amityville area. He has spearheaded the effort to mobilize our people and get them to the polls. And so, good morning, Bishop, and we give way for you to say whatever is on your heart today.
Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful morning. I am Bishop Walter Willie, the pastor, the founder of the Prayer Tabernacle Church of God in Christ, right here in Amityville, New York. It's a beautiful morning. Today is May 19th. Here in Nassau County, Suffolk County, we call it School Board Election Day. Many people don't understand the importance of school boards in our community, but here on Long Island, the school boards in every township are the ones who operate and runs the town. They're the ones that can raise the taxes or keep the taxes what it should be in each township. These persons that we vote, amen, are persons that should concern that community. Most of them have 7 persons on the board. And in our community this year, we have 4 candidates, first time, 4 African candidates who are running for the school board in Amityville. Amityville is made up of 60% of African Americans, 30% of Hispanic, and 10% of other people. And yet our school board is outnumbered by other people of other nationalities. And we're trying to get some of our own people who understand the plight of our people, understand how African American people live and operate in the community. And we feel that we should have at least 3 of our own people on the board. So for the last few months, we've been going around, coming together, having meetings to unify the community why it is important to vote for the school board. As you all know, everybody vote in November, but in May, they forget about the school board election. And we've been trying our best to get our people to vote. Why? Because the school board controls, again, the community. And as you know, all around today, America, what's happening in Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, they're trying to take us back to the 60s. Same thing with the school board. They want to stop the progress for the African American students in our school system. And we told them enough is enough. We will not stand by and let the system dictate to us how to run our community. So we've been going out, asking everybody who can vote over 18 years old. This is our time. This is our moment. We need everybody on board to make it happen. Otherwise, just like they're having problems down south, Louisiana, there's the same problem here in New York, right here on Long Island. Who ever thought we would go back to the 60s? Who ever thought that? But if people don't wake up and don't understand the need of voting, they're going to slip in without we knowing about it and take control over everything. So we've been calling, telling everybody, please, y'all, vote is needed, necessity. It's for the community. It's for our children. It's for us for the day, so we have a voice in our neighborhood. So
Amen.
we've been pushing for it, and so that's been a fight of our community. And as you've been knowing, for this weekend, the Long Island Railroad, one of the biggest railroads in America, went on strike, which I thought would never happen because of the dynamics of New York City and Long Island. Over 380,000 people is affected by it. And when they went on strike, first of all, Friday night, they said they came to agreement. But Saturday morning, they went on strike. And it affected the commute from Long Island to New York City, from New Jersey to New York City. And thousands of people could not go to work on Monday. And also, they understood the importance of this railroad strike. Why? They had a major basketball game coming on tonight at Madison Square Garden, the New York Knicks. So they knew that they had to do something very quickly to reverse the strike. And I was told today that they last night that they came to a partial agreement to keep the trains running, especially for the game on tonight. So this is New York City, y'all. And I thought that the president would have did something to stop it day one, since he knew the importance of New York City. But this shows you that the first time in over 30 or 40 years they had a strike in New York City, and every other president came to bat for New York City. It's the first time this president did not come to bat for New York City. So it's been let down, but guess what? Because money's involved, things will change.
Thank you so much for that, Bishop. And let me applaud and honor you for the initiative and the sterling leadership that you're providing our community, especially in the area of electoral politics, and reminding us just how important it is in terms of our civic responsibility to participate, especially in local elections. I know we get very, very excited when it comes to national elections, but the work gets done on the local level. And so thank you for the leadership that you're providing in this area, and on behalf not only the faith community, but the political community and those persons who we normally see out front. Let me thank you for the time and the energy that you're putting into this. I also, Bishop, want to follow up with the other members of our panel today, because this strike of the Long Island Railroad that you have given voice to has really challenged us to take a look at what is our role as a Christian when we face adversity that we seemingly cannot control. We believe and subscribe to the notion that God is omnipotent and he is everywhere. But there are times when we have to assess what our response and what our reaction is, and provide a model for our people to emulate. And so I want the panel to kind of weigh in on this. And I know that you may not have you may not be experiencing a strike of your light rail system where you are. But the larger, more looming question, beloved, is how do we handle adversity? How do we handle conflict? What is our crisis management tools through the lens of faith? How does our faith, watch this, how does our faith inform our response to crisis? Again, as Bishop Willie has indicated, there are 300,000 people who have been severely inconvenienced these last 2 to 3 days. And there's a great deal of anxiety, a great deal of fret that is going on. And the Bible teaches us to be anxious for nothing. So how does that religious rhetoric that we typically use, how is that applied when the rubber meets the road and we find ourselves in situations where we literally have to apply the tools of our faith in order to manage the crises and the challenges that we find ourselves confronted with? Anybody in whatever order you'd like. I'm going back on you because I'm in a public place and I just don't want the background noise to interfere and distract me.
I'll go first, per usual. Wisdom, first of all, is something that I think we should employ in terms of, is this my fight? Because we all have strengths in various areas and are knowledgeable in various areas. And then there are times when we personally, not the body in general, are called to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. This is not your fight. So the wisdom to know, is this something that I can be impactful and effective in if I get involved? I believe that we as leaders in our families, in our communities, and in the church are called to advocacy. The Lord makes it plain in Isaiah that to him, the ultimate fast is that we reach beyond ourselves and we make sure that those who are marginalized, those who have no voice, those who are underrepresented, that they should be embraced and we should be champions for them. So I feel that as leaders, in particular in the body of Christ, not excluding the other believers, but as leaders, we definitely should be involved beyond just teaching and preaching and assembling our congregations on Sundays and for prayer and Bible study.
I stand with you 100%, Dr. Stratford. I was just, as we were talking, I had to Google up a couple of things so I can kind of catch up and be on point. According to what I saw, the Long Island Railroad is expecting to be up and running fully by 12 o'clock noon today. Now, being a former resident and son of the New York metropolitan area, particularly the border of Queens and Nassau County, um, I loved riding on the LIRR when it was convenient for me financially. Other than that, I'd walk the other way and catch the local subway to get where I was going. But we need to be involved in places and in things that are happening in our communities. Most especially, our voice needs to be heard when action takes place, such as strikes. Again, our voices need to be heard when it's time to vote, particularly when it's time to vote. Let me applaud you, Bishop Willie, for your continuance in making sure that the people of the community of Amityville, North Amityville, are well provided for. Thank you for that. And school board elections are not just taking place in North Amityville or in Amityville. They're taking place in many areas right here in the state of New York. And it is important that those votes take place and that we go and make sure that those who we need to stand in place are in place, because as Bishop Willie said, our voice needs to be heard.
Amen. So I'm all the way out east, but ain't nothing changed. It's the same all over. And I believe, I hear you, Bishop Stephanie, and you're absolutely right. But when it comes to such things as transportation, let me address that first. I've already made up my mind that if something goes wrong on this island, I am not getting in my car. I'm staying right on my front porch and let it happen, because there's no way you can even get to the end of the block by the time they finish converging. But it is everybody's concern, no matter where we are, because we're in different places in the world, but all things still remain the same no matter where you are. I've got friends and family all over the world, and it's like we all have the same complaint: travel, traffic. I probably am going to get beat up by Bishop Lewter and my friend Pastor Scott, but I think I've been on the Long Island Railroad 5 times in my life. I think I took my children once as an excursion. I've been in a car since I was born. I got my license at 16. My father taught me how to drive at 9. I have no desire to get on an overcrowded train and be pushed and shoved. But I realize it's a necessity. It's a method of transportation and somewhat enjoyable if you're going cross country, which I intend to do. However, people need jobs, people need work. And for those people, the people that travel the railroad don't necessarily live in New York City. They live within New York State. Many don't have cars. They don't have the benefit of a car or whatever. And I don't see how I understand the strike, but there should be some modification. It's with New York, it seems to be all or nothing. And we're an all or nothing place. And I think we need to modify that. I think that people, as from what I understand, they weren't supposed to be penalized for not getting to work or whatever. But the fact is, we don't know what happens in the back room. We don't know who got docked pay. We don't know who may have gotten fired for something that was not their fault nor their problem. And yes, we have to know whether it's our fight. But again, who is our brother? We have to stand up for one another and this in the railways, in the schools, and everywhere. So I'm glad. I hope it's over. But the reason, thank you, Bishop Willie, that is money once again just makes me kind of sad that they couldn't do it for any other reason, but to put that on the table as a reason for settling the strike, because they were so adamant about not giving in and not giving up until they got what they wanted. So I don't see this ending because of a game. I really don't. But we have to incorporate all of that. And the schools, our youth are important. Our youth is so important. If we don't vote, we don't have to be on a school board, but we have to stand arm in arm for those who are fighting for our children. We really do. Our children are so vitally important in this world. They are our next. And being with Bishop Lewter on Sunday, if you could have seen the smiles on those children as some of them served before they even joined, they had been going, but they finally made that commitment to see the young adults take hold and to know that we can teach them and lead them because they now understand respect and want to model after those who went before them, even though they may not understand it in that context, is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And I just believe there's hope all the way around. I really do. But we have to do something. We have to do more. We can't sit back and watch it happen. We have to be a part of what's happening. And since I'm the oldest one on the panel, if I can do it, y'all can do it too. And so can everybody who's watching, no matter what age you are, you have something positive to give, and we need to give it.
I
So,
think,
go ahead, Bishop Health.
okay. I just think it's important for us as leaders to vote, not only in the school board and the rail, but in every area. We have our district county attorneys. We have our hmm, our city councils. We have all of these different areas that we need to vote, because if you don't vote and you don't know what you're voting for, you're gonna be caught up in, because there's such a disparity in all levels. And I think our people need to be informed of the disparity. And we also need to know how to correct those disparities, um, and reach all of our people. Because I think this is just the beginning of sorrows if we don't get our people involved in politics and knowing what we're voting for. We have lots of elections coming up in November. Like we said, we have the big elections, but you do have to vote in your city elections, your county, and also your larger elections, because then you will know and know where you're voting. We have a disparity of young people voting, and somehow we've got to reach that age group 18 to vote, because they are the voters of this age. Because if you don't, you're going to lose them. And so I think that's very nice of you, Bishop Willie, to model that. And for our leaders, we've got to teach those that don't know and get them involved.
I know, Bishop Lewter, you asked about Christians adapting to life changes.
Mm-hmm.
The world is changing every day.
Every
Yeah.
day.
Every day.
Every day.
It's running like 90 miles per hour, seem like, with the changes. So we must teach our people how to make adjustment at the last second. We can't we cannot afford to freeze up when things happen. You know, black people always been alert because we've been taught for hundreds of years. Be alert, be watchful, because you're fighting for your life. And unfortunately, the times we're in right now, our young people are just in a daze. They're just relaxing. And they don't understand the urgency of being watchful in this day and time and learning how to be adaptable. You must learn to adapt to life issues. If you don't, it's gonna swallow you up, it's gonna overtake you. And so when we have a strike or anything in our community, we gotta warn our people, listen, don't sit there and say what's going on. You gotta get busy doing something, because the Bible is right. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. In other words, we take it for granted that I'll be all right no matter what. And we're not. Every day something happening in our community, families, church world, our nation is in an uproar. And if we don't do something to keep our people alarmed, it's going to happen. It's going to trample on all of, not most of us, to overcome what's going on.
I agree, Bishop Willie. And not only that, but something you said is very important. And we on the panel and a lot of us community-wise keep saying our people, our people. We need to teach people sitting next to us. We need to teach them what they don't know, may not care about, whatever, no matter who they're married to or not married to. Because if we don't teach our counterparts, whatever they may be, the same as they want us to learn Catholicism and Judaism and everything else and understand all nations, we need to teach them what we're about. We need to show them who we're about. Because if we don't and we just keep plodding along in our lane, they're never going to get it. We need to make sure they get it. We need to rub off. A little bit need to rub off on everybody else so they understand. Everybody wants us to understand their mission in terms of the world, but they need to understand our mission in terms of who we are. We can push gently, we can nudge, we can do however we do it, but we need to make sure that some of that rubs off on them, not just on Juneteenth, not just on Black History Month, not just on a Sunday morning in church when they come and visit and do their nice thing, but we need to make sure they understand exactly what the culture and the heritage is about so that they can say, wow, I understand that when that happened to us. I did that experiment really because my armor bearer had no idea that the Irish went through a period of plight and the whole bit. People just don't know because they're not taught. But I think it's up to us. If they really want us to rub off on them, let's rub off on them. Let's really tell them and show them who we are. And in all aspects, so that they understand why. Those that understand stood with us in the marches, stood with us in different battles. But that doesn't mean they told anybody else for whatever reason. But we need to be the ones to get that information out to them. We're not just people of color. We're people of purpose, people of promise, and we need to have that understood.
Beloved, let me, I'm sorry. Go ahead, doctor, because I was going to, go ahead, doctor.
Okay, I was going to say that puts a responsibility on the leaders, because as you're saying, and what I heard Bishop Willie indicate is the responsibility is also on us being informed, being willing to grow, to be intentional about keeping ourselves as leaders. We go first. We see faster, farther. But if we are in a mindset, I mean, I'm weary with wrestling with pastors for them to get out of the box, out of the boat, and assume the responsibility of leadership beyond biblical knowledge. We are the ones who have to model it. We may not be getting hosed and bitten by dogs or whatever, but our hand should be leaving an imprint in the community where we are. They should know us. They should know who we are, what we do, what they can depend on us for. We should know the mayor and the chief of police and the government officials. They should know our face when we walk in to City Hall. But if we're just reading the Bible, the people who look to us for leadership are not going to see what they need modeled to rise up and become who they should be. That's the prophet's job, is to ignite the people of God so that they rise up and take action.
It's good. It's rich. That's rich. Beloved, permit me to alter the temperature of our conversation in these last probably 10 to 12 minutes that we have available to us today. I find my heart a bit heavy because a number of colleagues and associates that I have enjoyed doing ministry with over the years, there's just a growing number of individuals whose faces are fading. And it puts us in touch with our own mortality. Overseer Seaman is out east, where we just recently lost Reverend Shirley, Pastor Shirley, on the East End. Every year I would receive a birthday greeting from Reverend Carl Dell. That was his ministry. That was his brand. He would call the area preachers and wish them a happy birthday. I didn't get a birthday greeting this year because his eyes were closed, and he is no more. Pastor Scott and I grew up just beneath the ministry. He wasn't a father figure, but he was certainly a big brother figure of Charles Norris. He started in Far Rockaway and went to Bethesda in Jamaica. We lost him. And so, again, how do we respond and handle when we see persons that we have known and in some instances are younger than we are coming to the end of the road? And I don't want to be morbid, and I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but there is a harsh reality that we have fewer days in front of us than we have behind us.
Oh, yeah.
And how does our faith inform our response to the reality that we're just losing more and more people that we have known over the years?
Bishop,
well,
go ahead, Pastor Norman.
Okay, thank you, Bishop Willie. Thank you so much for mentioning that, Bishop, because even as we speak, there's yet another brother of ours who has gone on. I don't know if you would remember this name, Bishop Lewter, the name of Pastor Gregory Kramer, who was a son of the late Dr. R.A. Laws of Mount Lebanon in Brooklyn. Gregory Kramer, his homegoing is scheduled for this Thursday at the First Baptist Church in East Elmhurst. He was the pastor of Greater Friendship Baptist Church in Brooklyn, which was organized by the late Reverend Frederick Waddell. I'm sure those names might come across to you, Bishop. Yes, it's been a terrible loss for us, for many of us, and we're just here doing what we got to do. Watch this, Bishop Lewter. The gentleman that succeeded me at the Mount Olive Church in Albany, his homegoing was about 3 weeks ago, about a month ago. I'm sorry. The gentleman that succeeded me at the Mount Olive Church in Albany, New York, he is going on to be with the Lord. So yes, I believe, if I could say this like this properly without being offensive to the body of Christ, but I believe that we need to really start paying attention to what God is doing and what God is saying.
Oh, that's
Uh,
a conversation.
and we're not. I'm not sure if we're doing it enough. Um, listen, the first time Donald Trump won the election, I believe that was the wake up call. And here he is again in position, and we still have not heard the full signs. And just think about what's getting ready to happen if we do not move like we need to move. Think about what's going to happen. Y'all need to look at what's getting ready to happen. It's very serious, and a lot of us most and watch this. The generations that are going to follow us are really going to be affected by what could happen, and those generations are not going to be comfortable with that. So we need to take a stand. Uh, we need to do what we need to do. Uh, whatever it is that we need to do in terms of our civic duty, we need to do that. We need to do that. But yes, it's tough when your colleagues leave you. 2.5 years ago, when the Lord just took my brother. My brother was not just my brother; he was my colleague in ministry as well. Uh, he and I started preaching pretty much 1 year after one another. He was the first one to acknowledge his call and gave his back what they called it back then, a trial sermon. Gave his trial sermon. And I came along the next year and gave my trial sermon. And in between my brother and I giving our trial sermons, Bishop Lewter gave his trial sermon. And I thank God for all of the colleagues that have come, and some of our own colleagues have gone on. Sam Joubert Jr. gone. The Lord has taken him away. Gentleman by the name of Curtis Wells. Curtis Wells, a lot of times when we would go out, if we were doing youth revivals anywhere, Curtis Wells would be the one to sing for all of us. He would sing and take care of back then. They called it devotion back then, but Curtis Wells was really our praise and worship leader wherever we went, and he would stir up the crowd with his singing. Yeah, those things are missed, and it puts a hole in the heart. It does, but thank God for His grace and His mercy.
If I can, I know it sounds redundant, but the older generation of preachers, to me, what I've seen in all my years, the responsibility is so full there that it's killing. It's very, very pressing. My thought is that all leaders, no matter who we are or where we lead, need to not just train up someone to come behind us, but we need to kind of inject all of those around us so that they feel a sense of responsibility for what goes on primarily in the house of God, that they take that and extend it outwardly to the communities, because there's so much pressed on the shoulders of leaders that we don't seem to understand. We don't have to carry all that. We have partnership in this. One of my favorite words these days is partnership, because no man is an island. And the more we try and stand alone in our personal doctrine, rather than to be like good ink and spread all over, give everybody a little drop so that they can feel it, the more pressed upon we get, and the more people are dying or leaving or having strokes. I know 3 ministers right now, 3 pastors who have all had strokes. I have been doing missionary work all weekend, last weekend too. It's nobody willing to assume, or very few somebodies in a couple of places willing to assume that responsibility, because everybody waiting for the pastor. We're really killing our pastors. We have to spread out. We have to share that that we have, that God has given us. We have to teach it. We have to let it flow so that we can grow. You put fertilizer in one place, that's the only thing that's going to grow. You spread it out, and then everything has a chance to be fed by it. I'm just saying.
You know, we as leaders are concerned about one another. We are our brothers and sisters keepers. Since COVID, we've been experiencing a season of transitions of leadership everywhere since COVID. And you know, it does hurt when you see your loved ones or clergy person you know leaving here. You keep saying, am I next? Will I be next? Because the fear of all of us is we don't want to leave here. But yet, we're not made to stay here. We all got to leave here one day, but nobody want to leave here though. Unfortunately, God is going to get us out of here one by one or three by three, whatever you call it. And until then, we'll keep on sounding the alarm, sharing fellowship, doing our part, because we're gonna get out of here. I don't want to leave here now, but any moment now, our eyes gonna close, and next person got to step up, and that could be the key. The next person must step up and do what we're doing right now. Otherwise, they're gonna miss out what God wants from them.
But the question is, Bishop Willie, is it just, I just thought about it when you said it. You said the next person has to step up. We've always been waiting for the next person to step up, but it takes more than one person nowadays.
I mean,
we're in a different generation. We need
not the
people.
next person, the next generation.
Yep.
We're trying to pass the baton. We're trying to pass the baton to the next generation, and most of them are caught up in what they want. This ministry belongs to God, not to us.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
I think it's important. I hate to start talking because I can't get it out because of this, whatever this is. But I think we have to embrace the community now, and it seems like the older preachers, or maybe not older, but some just had a capacity to embrace the people. We don't anymore. I think a lot of the preachers and leaders now, it's a job and just that. But I think we have to have that spirit of love that we were taught, and be able to embrace and have that among the people. We have to have that, and we know the difference. The older preachers embrace that. They love one another. They were more more geared to what the Bible said to do. And they were conducive. We have to have an environment that's conducive to that. We don't have that anymore. I think that's where it's lost. And you can teach some of that, but you have to catch some of that. You have to embrace that. And a lot of the preachers that are leaving are those that had that. They cared about their neighbor. They cared about their brother and their sister. And didn't mind doing that. But now it's just a job. It's just a job, and people don't embrace that. We didn't have that in the past. And that's what we're missing. Love your brother. Who is your brother? Who is your sister? The one that loves the Father.
And
well, go ahead, Doctor. You get the last word today.
My response actually to you, Bishop Lewter, is preparation.
Yeah.
I realized my mortality when Mommy left. I was like, oh my goodness, God is not playing about this thing. And it made me think about my mother, Bishop Willie, because she said the only regret she has for transitioning from this life is she did not want to leave her children.
Right.
And, I'm at that stage now where I totally get it. I believe family first. And so when we talk about the preparation, I am preparing my family, starting with those that I birthed, for the reality of it. And making sure that I do as much as I can to make it as comfortable and easy for them as possible. I will probably write my own obituary, make all of my preparations, and there's going to be a big brouhaha because I told my son, I don't care who come and say what, no Bishop's funeral. I'm not taking you all through that. I don't care who it is. So, I'll probably soften that a little bit along the way. But then the responsibility to do the same with the church, to prepare them not only spiritually, but also financially, as well as the family, making sure that they don't have to endure the embarrassment of doing a GoFundMe and all of these things, teaching people that you can buy your casket wholesale, the same one that the funeral home is going to charge you 300% markup for. And your family can buy that and send it to the funeral home, and legally they have to accept it. That's thousands of dollars right there. And just letting people know it's a reality. I know we all want the rapture to come and catch us up to meet them in the air.
I'm not sure.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, make sure that things are in line. Don't live in denial or with the mindset of, well, somebody will figure it out. Somebody will make sure I get buried. And do as much as we can to prepare our loved ones, and the legacy of the family. As I'm the auntie, there's nobody above me in our family. I'm the matriarch. And so I'm teaching even my sisters and brothers' children, unity in the family. We should be able to come together, not worried about a fight breaking out or who's got the pistol, who's got the liquor. That should not be happening. And that's the legacy I want to leave, is peace. Because the family is everything. It's everything. So preparation, I think, is very important in the reality of that we're all going to leave here one way or the other. Nobody leaves Earth alive.
That's good. That's good. Well, listen, friends, for the last hour, you've been listening to the Weekly Clergy Roundtable, and I want to thank all of our guests for not only their presence, but their participation, their insights, and their perspectives, which helps each and every one of us. Listen, tell a neighbor, tell a friend that is the 9 o'clock hour on Tuesdays. We are here, and we're anxious to have you be a part of this experience. Until next time, go in peace, go in love, go in joy, go in happiness, for the author of the same most certainly goes with